and happy Moon Day. Claudia here. Wow, we've got a big week ahead. Things are really ramping up. You might have been feeling it. I hope you set some really good new moon intentions. This is going to be a really powerful cycle, and the self-directing individual energy was what the new moon was all about, with that incredible lineup in pioneering, bold, and daring Aries. And if you're checking in with me this morning, please let me know in the chat. I always love to hear from you. And if you're watching the replay, message me. Let me know what you think. Let me know that you were there and that it was of benefit, or that you'd like to see, me cover something else. As I said, I love hearing from you. And of course, there will be a link posted where you can get a session if you want to navigate these energies for your greatest good and highest joy, with the right timing for everything. So we begin this week, and I'll tell you, with April, we go from today's Mars-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius to Venus moving into Pisces at the end of the week. And then we, in early next week, we have Jupiter conjunct Neptune, big stuff. I'm going to be talking more about that as we go forward. And the month ends, we have a full moon in Libra, and then the month ends with eclipse season. So the energy is going to be building all month, and it's really, really more vital than ever that you master your energy, that you be the master of your soul and your process, because there's going to be a lot of things floating through the air to try to gain your attention and control your narrative and distract you. So first of all, I'm going to do what we always do, a variation of the heart drop, so that we're all present and heart-centered with each other. So feel your feet on the floor and send some energy down to about 3.5 feet below the earth. That's your earth star. It's your own personal connection to the electromagnetic grid of the earth. And from there, you can even see that energy moving all the way to the core of the earth. And you're going to begin to take a breath, inhaling from the soles of your feet, from that earth star, all the way up, feeling that prana, that life force, that source energy, filling every cell of your body. Feel your cells begin to quicken. And as that energy moves up all the way to the top of your head, to your crown chakra, you begin to exhale. Notice where the breath is in your body. Is your belly moving? If not, welcome the breath on the next inhalation. All the way up. And as you exhale, just release any thinkety-think that has you anywhere but in the present moment. And on the next inhalation, see beautiful, grounded, earth-colored energy moving up, filling your whole body from below the soles of your feet. Feel your cells expand and quicken as you know that you are sustained and loved always by the earth. And as you come to the top of your head, see white light about 18 inches above your head pouring down through your crown chakra. And as you exhale, that joins with the earthy colored feeling energy. And it moves down through your whole body. Now you take another wonderful inhalation, welcoming source energy to fill your body. And as you exhale, feel that thinkety-think, all that mental energy drop behind your facial mask, behind your chin, through your throat, down through your chest, coming to land to rest in your heart. Do that a couple of times until you really feel that you're in your heart. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And now as you come to rest in your heart lights up with rosy gold energy. And that energy begins to expand, and that rosy energy of self-love fills every cell of your body. Now you see it like a bubble of light around your heart, and that bubble begins to expand. That light, it expands, and it goes beyond the edges of your body, out into your auric field. Just bask in that self-loving, rosy gold, rosy quartz energy. With every exhalation, the energy expands, and the energy expands out to your community, to the state you're living in. That love embraces every plant, every animal, every person, the land masses of the earth, out through the country you're living in, through the oceans of the world, all the creatures in the sea. Feel that rosy gold energy, that loving energy, just clearing the oceans. And now that beautiful bubble of rose quartz energy moves out to encircle the whole earth. And the energy continues to move out into the universe, embracing all the planets, all the stars, welcoming the highest consciousness of these orbs, whose energy is in our DNA. And you feel a wonderful, wonderful field of massive, heart-centered love vibrating, quickening throughout the universe. And now the bubble begins to recede as this energy returns to you. So be sure your feet are grounded. And you feel this energy entering your body again, filling every cell of your body. Comes back to you 1,000 times what you set out. That love. You are loved by the universe. You are loved by this planet. You are loved by you, as you truly have your being in the heart of Source, as you navigate this illusion called human beingness. And now with the next exhalation, you feel yourself in your heart with just wonderful, wonderful, rosy gold, self-loving energy, celebrating that divine uniqueness in the field of oneness that you are. Open your eyes and come back to be with me. Hello there. Yeah. So today, the moon is in Taurus, earthy Taurus. I always feel that if we actually included the sign, the symbol for the earth, which is a circle with a cross, a Gothic cross, an equal cross inside it, that's the symbol for the earth. And we never see that in a, located in a chart, but we do, it is the chart itself where we're at the center of that cross. So I always feel that that would be included along with Venus as a ruler of Taurus, because she is an earthy girl, reminding us to ground ourselves. Because tonight at, I believe it's 6:51 p.m., we have Saturn and Mars united with each other. You've been able actually to see it in the evening, especially if you have a telescope, with Saturn to the west of Mars in the sky. And they've been separate, but now tonight it's going to be together. So it'll almost be like an occultation because they're so, so close. So if you look up and you see Mars, you'll know that Saturn's right there. And this has really been part of this lesson in consciousness, to find a new balance between Venus and Mars. And Saturn has to do with the old traditional ways of doing things, the old systems, the old authority systems and authority figures. And Mars is energy. Wherever Mars goes, energy flows. But we have tended, because it's assertive energy, we have tended to associate it with war. And we are all warriors for something, but what are we warriors for? What's worth crusading for in our lives? And Saturn asks that you be responsible, that you be committed to whatever that is. So, I'm going to take a look here, because this is a really powerful conjunction. We had Venus conjunct Saturn, and now, hi Sandra, hello. And now we have, we're going to have Mars conjunct Saturn tonight. We're going to feel this all week. And so controlling your narrative was never more important. In other words, don't get locked into the narrative that the media hands you, because you're going to see some war things ramp up this week, no doubt. But then there may be resolutions towards the end of the week, especially as we have Venus moving into Pisces on Wednesday. So that'll shift the energy, this Venus-Mars energy that's been going on. But Aquarius is about being opinionated. It's also about finding your tribe. And the challenge in 3D is to not be polarized. I know I was listening to something the other day that was talking about the awareness of good and evil, and how what that indicates is our fall into polarity. So discernment is a big word to remember. And seeing if you can clear the decks of your mind and your heart so you don't enter situations and relationships with a preconceived opinion. Saturn shows us our limitations and our restrictions and teaches us lessons. It's the Lord of Karma. And we've been watching it since March 31st, 2020. We've been watching Saturn move through Aquarius. So as this is happening, it is showing us the restrictions and limitations we have around our idea of humanity and what is right for humanity. Aquarius wants equality for everyone. It is the sign of truth. It is the visionary. But our opinions can be too locked in and get in our way. So we have to be careful of that. I have some questions for you to ask yourself, courtesy of foreverconscious.com. And so if you're journaling, and I hope you are, this is such a momentous time in herstory, history, our story, that it's really more important than ever that you journal your journey so that you can look back and start to live with an awareness of cycles on a greater level. We get so bogged down in the tunnel vision of day to day and the illusion of future and past that we don't journal what is actually going on for us, because we have a unique perspective. We're a unique point of view in the heart of source. So that's what we want to maximize. That's what we want to focus on. As well as I said last time, practicing your mastery. So important. The mind makes a terrible servant. I mean, a terrible master, but it can make a worthy servant. So every day, balancing your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies and grounding yourself. It's very, very important during this transit to ground yourself, and to know your values so that you ground yourself in values that are based on love and joy and your highest good. I mentioned last week that your values are what underscore your vision, and your vision determines your decisions. And that's what Aquarius reminds you of. And of course, anytime we talk about Aquarius energy, we're talking about the age that we're moving into and the rising of the human potential to fulfill itself. So here's some questions that you might ask yourself during this Mars-Saturn conjunction. What's my biggest challenge right now? And what can I do to feel supported as I navigate through it? Meditation is a big one for that too. And dropping into your heart, seeing how well you love throughout the day. Everything from the blades of grass to all of your interactions. What are 3 ways I can step up and take better responsibility for my life and what I desire? It's a really good question, since we continue in the new moon phase for just a little bit longer, and you're being asked to hone your intentions, do your feelization, your gratitude to fertilize those intentions. Where do I need to step up and take a leap of faith? So Aries energy definitely supports that. If I couldn't fail, what would I do? That's always a wonderful question to ask, because we are so tied into what makes a living and what other people think and all of this. So it's really good to ask ourselves, if I couldn't fail, what would I do? And of course, even seeming failures sometimes are our biggest teachers and our greatest gifts. How can I manage my energy? How can I manage my energy levels? This is a big one right now. And you might find, if you've really been boogieing on your plan, your goals, your vision, your dreams, you might find that this particular conjunction produces, even though we're in the new moon energy of a waxing part of the cycle, you might find that you just feel tired, that you need to take a break. Just let yourself chill, so that the things that are really important are allowed to filter down and filter in, because the old systems are breaking down. So a lot of new is coming in, along with all of the light, the photonic light from moving through the photon belt, the coronal mass ejections that are due to really ramp up this summer. So I know oftentimes my guides will say, lie down, take a break, we want to talk to you. And although I always think I'm listening for them, there are times when, lately particularly, they really, really want to get my perspective honed and ramped up, because we are moving dimensionally. We are moving 3D, 4D, 5D. We are surfing. We're dimensional surfers right now. So don't forget that. That takes energy and calibration. And it's that thing of slowing down to speed up, because the planets, the evolution is speeding up. But when I say slow down, I feel that means be as present as possible. Because if you ever had that experience of when you come into the present where everything just seems to slow down and you're just there, yeah, it's the best place to be, because it's the true point of power. How can I keep myself motivated to not give up on my dreams and goals? That's a really good thing to ask yourself. That goes back to the point of, how do you use Mars energy? You know, in 2005, Mars came really close to the Earth. I remember I was here in the desert, and I went down to Rancho Mirage, and they had telescopes set up. The Astronomy Society has telescopes set up, and you could take a look at Mars. And as I looked, it was almost as though I heard the planet say in Pisces, a sign that's about empathy and compassion and emotional sensitivity and tremendous creativity, the bridge between heaven and earth. That's its reminder. It's almost as if Mars was saying, how can you use me differently? How can you please develop a different consciousness about wherever Mars goes, energy flows. Be more aware of the energy of that consciousness. So what dreams and goals do I need to let go of? And I've been mentioning, as we move through the Pisces cycle last month, and now with Neptune and Jupiter conjunction coming up, we're really, really asked to look at the dreams that must be released now. Because a new dream, folks, a new dream is coming into being. That's what's happening. It's happening. So it's an important time to allow that dream to birth itself within you, and look at how you're going to walk that each day. And how can you be at your highest level for yourself each day? Really good question to ask yourself. So this week also has a lot of energy around relationship. Of course, as we go through this rebalancing, this new balance with Venus and Mars that has been an ongoing theme now since the beginning of the year, actually since right before, when Venus moved in retrograde motion. You know, it's how well can you love? What attracts your attention? How do you receive what you need? What do you desire? What do you consider pleasure? Is continual digital distraction your pleasure? Or do you find pleasure in all of life, in the world around you, in all of your relationships? And so this week has a lot of that relationship energy inherent in it. And you might find that you're letting go of some old friends or associates, and that new ones are coming in, and that you're getting more clarity regarding what it is you actually want, need, desire out of your relationships. Because again, Aquarius is about friends, community, groups and associations, and your tribe. So like-minded tribe does not mean that you close your heart to everyone else. You know, again, that dance of being careful of the dance of polarity, where it's not an us and them kind of thing, but simply my preference, my highest vibe. Self-empowerment is a big theme for this month. Of course, it's ongoing, but particularly with Pluto at these final degrees, and then Venus, Mars, these planets coming up to their final degrees. 23 degrees is where this conjunction is happening, and Pluto is at 28. So as this energy moves forward, as Saturn moves forward, you know, we're going to have an odd aspect. Challenging as far as our perspective is concerned, but it will require us to be aware of what no longer qualifies as power and force. These are two things that we're rectifying within ourselves, because power is inherent. Again, it goes back to that thing of practicing your mastery, having a practice of mastery every day. One of the best things you can do, other than doing a meditation that connects you to source before you get out of bed, that connects you to your intentions. It's great to do feelization before you get out of bed, to take your intentions and say them out loud and then feel them for at least 17 seconds each one. Health, relationship, business and finance, and then beauty and rejuvenation, or home and family, no more than 4. And then when you wake up, you know, I wake up and I generally spin. I do the Tibetan right spin, 21 clockwise direction, 21 spins, and not like a whirling dervish, just at your own speed. And then at the end, if you turn back counterclockwise, whenever you get dizzy, you don't need to, you work up to 21. You stop by turning back in the other direction. But then put your robe on, your slippers, whatever you need to do, proceed outside and call the directions. That is so grounding and so wonderful. It really makes you aware of that bubble, that sphere of energy, the way that you are supported, east, west, north, south, above, below, and within. It brings you to center. So if you can do that every day, plus, as I've mentioned before, nature vibrates at the solfeggio frequency of love. So go out and get some love from nature and, love it back. It's a great, great thing to do, especially since it's spring. It's just amazing to see what is blooming, what's bursting forth that's different every day. So you're eliminating obstacles so that you can better fulfill your future. And this can be frightening, because what's happening is you're being forced to face your fears. And as we move through the moon today, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So we've got, again, that relationship. Venus always brings us into an awareness of relationship. And that is squaring. Venus is squaring itself. So where do we need to turn a corner regarding our relationships? Where could we be more of what we wish to attract? Because that's the way it works. We're magnetic, right? And you attract what you are. So Venus rules the veins, the circulation. So health-wise, it's a great day if you set an intention, since this whole cycle in Aries has to do with the muscular system and the brain, the blood through the brain. it's really a great time to set an intention around activity that supports good muscle tone. And so, this goes along. This is the balance between Venus and Mars, the good circulation, the good arterial circulation through the veins and muscles moving through your body. What are you doing? I know I stepped out and took a walk a couple days last week, and I have been sitting way too much. Boy, did I feel it. So I don't know if you're in that boat, but I want to do water aerobics a couple times a week. It's one of the most powerful low impact exercises you can do, and get my walks in nature the rest of the time, because that muscle tone, especially as we get older, if we're gifted with that option, then we have to keep our muscle tone in order. So we are creating a new balance. There is a new dream beginning, and you are encouraged to set those intentions, because we still have one more day in the new moon phase. And the closer to the new moon that you can set your intentions, the more you have that ignition energy. But you have that 3.5 days to each phase that gives you some leeway there. So if you haven't set your intentions for this Aries cycle, I mentioned that there are new healing options available. And I want to talk a little bit about the two faces of Mars, because this is very much in play right now. One of the examples of the two faces of Mars in action occurred at something called the Academy Awards celebrations. And in the United States, we have these celebrities that we put on pedestals, these actors. And I used to work in that industry. And they are human beings who play roles. We're all playing a role, but most of us are playing ourselves, right? And so we do not enter the field of neuroses where we embody somebody else for a long period of time. And oftentimes, neuroses are a way that we hide from pain, we escape. And it can be connected to addictions, to all sorts of things. But there was something called the slap heard or seen around the world that occurred at this year's Oscars. And the conversations that have ensued have been really interesting. First of all, the media getting such a bully pulpit on this thing, this narrative, it brings up a lot of psychology of our culture. So one might think, well, there's wars going on, there's this and that going on, but it's all about what kind of a narrative you are assuming for yourself. And so I immediately thought, what's the astrology of this? Well, the day of the Academy Awards, or the evening, Mercury moved into Aries. So Mercury moved out of emotionally sensitive, compassionate Pisces into, again, the possible face of war in Aries. And Neptune, which is a big player right now, being in Pisces, rules the movie industry. Hollywood is called the dream machine because it manufactures a lot of, it's in ways that propagandizes dreams to us. And one of the things that it has been a proponent of is violence. We have a lot of actors that we really respect that do extremely violent movies. So where does this come from? What are the depths that someone draws on for this? Well, one of the actors, Will Smith, there was a joke said by Chris Rock that he didn't like, and so he went up on stage and physically assaulted him. And his wife was part of the deal. So we get to look at the two faces of Mars here. What do I mean? Well, there's Mars as the ruler of Aries, and Mars as the ruler of Scorpio. The nodal axis that Western astrology acknowledges right now is Taurus as the north node, where we're going, and collectively, that's a collective soul mandate. That's what the nodes signify. And the south node is in Scorpio, and that's what we're being asked to leave behind. Well, Scorpio rules elimination. It rules the colon. It brings up all of these. We are being asked to eliminate the hurts of the past. And so we really saw that in action, because now, as the deep dive has begun on the psychology and what was really going on in that moment, we see a couple of things. One is the dream machine that has shown us this illusion, but underneath it all is a big proponent of violence and supports the old paradigm of some are way up here and have more, while some have nothing, and glorify those that are up there. There's that old paradigm that's being shot down. And then there they were at the awards ceremony, having violence interjected to the ceremony itself by someone who has a lot of damage from childhood. In the area of Saturn, Saturn rules the father. And that father figure is very important in our lives. And a healthy relationship helps us with our own internal authority. And oftentimes that's some of the healing that needs to take place. Whichever parent was the authority figure in our lives then comes up for healing. So this is a lot of what's coming up right now with this South Node in Scorpio, where we are at war with ourselves. That's what we're being asked to look at. So if you have a preoccupation with war, the war's going on. I'm not saying that people aren't suffering and it's not a reality, but open your heart and just see peace in that situation. Be peace yourself. Send love to all parts of the world, to all people, that they may rise out of the negative side of the third dimension into the fourth, where they realize they are the creator of the third, and then the fifth, where all of this is bathed in light and love, and the past is no longer an option at all, because you are totally in the present, in your mastery. So as we move through this, we are going to be seeing the two faces of Mars moving forward. And we're really seeing it ramp up tonight with Mars conjunct Saturn. And we ask ourselves, what is our energy committed to? What are we energizing? What structure? Remember, we're in the first quarter of the year. So that's where we support the stem and leaves of the seed that we planted back at the solstice. And we build a support system of nourishment so that a bud and a blossom, hi Olivia, so that a bud and a blossom can come in. And Selena, hello. And that will bloom, it will be birthed. We will be birthing something at the summer solstice. So now we are in the first quarter where we take action, and the Aries energy says, what are you putting your energy toward? What are you a crusader for? With Eris there, that's the question that Eris is asking, the goddess of discord. So be as aware as you can. Take time to journal. Take time to ground yourself. Take time to do a practice of mastery as you begin your day, and then work it throughout your day. Keep dropping into your heart. You can take that breath, and especially when you're talking to people and in people's field and for yourself, but continually drop into your heart. You'll find that you're listening differently, that you are not thinking, because you'll be present. You're not thinking about what you've got to say next. You're not in your heart when you're doing that. When you're in your heart, you're allowing the conversation to flow so that you know exactly where your energy is to go. So this week, you may find that there's some irritation that comes up in your relationships. And tomorrow, we are going to have the moon move into Gemini at 8:45. Is that right? 8:45 p.m. That does not feel right. So I'm going to look that up. 8:45 p.m. is when we move into the crescent phase tomorrow night. So we move out of the time of seed planting and our intentions into the time when we move away from the inertia of the past and get together what we need to move forward on those intentions. So the crescent phase in the planting cycle is when the little sprout comes up, reaching for the light, comes up out of the earth. And the moon moves into Gemini. As I said, I don't feel that I have the right time here. So it's 8:04 p.m. Tomorrow evening. So there will be a mood shift as we move from Earth, from Taurus, into the airy realm of Gemini, the realm of the mind. And you're reminded to breathe. I hope that you have some breath practice that's part of your practice of mastery. So we're going to have at that time, we're going to have Mars squaring the nodes. Like I said, Mars is going to be a really big player all week. And this tests your ability to stay calm under pressure. With Gemini, Gemini can be really chatty. It can think that it knows it all and that it needs to get its idea out there above anybody else's. But the other side of Gemini is the quick mind, the versatility, the ability to remember to breathe. Gemini rules the inhalation. Its opposite, Sagittarius, rules the exhalation. And as I've said before, 33 conscious breaths a day will change your life. Making sure your belly's moving, etc. And as you do that, first of all, you calm your parasympathetic nervous system. And secondarily, to live fully, you have to breathe fully. So when you start with the 33 breaths, you might find that with all that mental energy, that your resolve, your counting goes away. So guess what? You get to start back at the beginning. So you'll get even more than 33 conscious breaths. And of course, it's not just air, not just oxygen. Every breath is prana. Yeah, bringing you into your center. So at 8:17 a.m. tomorrow, Venus moves into Pisces. And sensitivity, this will give you more sensitivity to the needs of your loved ones. That's going to increase. Compassion increases. And the challenge with Pisces energy, and of course, we're building to this conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune next Tuesday. The challenge is rose-colored glasses. We're going to see a lot of things. It's already happening, but we are going to see a lot revealed. Back to the Hollywood analogy, the dream machine, the veil being lifted, a lot of things exposed, a lot of revelations. And that occurs in our own lives too. Where have we drunk the Kool-Aid in our own lives about, perhaps it's time to shift our relationship to our work, our relationship to our family, our relationship to our finances, and establish a new balance. And how are we going to do that? What actions are we going to take? And Venus is the receptive principle. It's about Venus in Pisces is about the poetry of life, the music of the spheres. How do we receive what we need? So how do we set up our magnetic field so that it attracts? And that's the feelization. That's the moving into a picture of your intention, dropping into your heart and energizing that every day, feeling what that feels like, and then continually moving back into that state of being throughout your day. It fast tracks all your manifestation. Plus, it really feels good. So tomorrow you'll find that the night, as we move into the crescent phase and the Gemini moon, it's going to be good for brainstorming, and ideas will be sparked. So again, keep your journaling handy, or whatever you do. You can hit Siri and take a note, whatever it is, but you don't want to miss that, because Aries really is about ideas. When the cycle moves into Taurus, we will ground the ideas that are plausible, that we really want to put energy behind. But right now, ideas are flying fast and furiously. So, and notice where emotions come up that run counter to the magnetic field that you want to be. Again, it's not what you're doing. It's not, what you do, it's who you be. So on Wednesday, that Gemini moon that shifted in Gemini the night before on Tuesday, your mind's going to get spinning with fresh ideas as you wake up in the morning. So avoid a tendency to over-explain things, which when you breathe before you speak and you drop, you can get really fast at that. And it can be to the point where you're doing it all the time. People aren't noticing it, but it's making a big difference in the way that you take in information. And that's what Gemini is largely about, information. So putting those thoughts, looking at the thoughts that you want to put into form, and the form that your verbiage is going to take before it proceeds from your mouth. So by early evening, we're going to have the moon in hard aspect to Neptune, and that could bring some brain fog. That's one of the aspects of Neptune. Neptune rules fog, along with dreams and a higher love. But you might move from a really, a day of quick mental activity and clarity of thought to some fog in the evening. So you might use the energy best on Wednesday evening by just acting on one idea. Just look at one thing you're going to focus on and act on that idea in the evening. The energy supports that, so that you don't get sidetracked by your mind going everywhere. One of Gemini's mantras is variety is the spice of life. So just be aware of that. And on Thursday, early in the day, implementing ideas is easy, and you might find yourself feeling really courageous. But at 8:30 a.m., which some of you may not get up till then, but others of you may have been up for a few hours by then, the lunar mood shifts as the moon moves into Cancer. And that is a water sign, so we shift from air. So we go from Earth today. So ground yourself today, get your week planned, calendar the actions that you put under your intentions. Use the day proactively as this Mars-Saturn energy builds up. And that's the key, proactivity rather than anti. So early, I mentioned that early in the day, you get some things done, but then the mood shifts. And Cancer is about home and family. So you might find that it shifts from whatever you were focusing on to more domestic concerns, family, your home. And also, of course, Cancer always asks you to fill your own well. Now we're in the crescent phase. So in the crescent phase, the moon rises at 9 a.m., sets about 9 p.m., 50 minutes later each night during the 3.5 days of the phase. But by afternoon, you're encouraged to have more empathy. Let's just put it that way. And so Cancer is very creative energy. It's also security-oriented energy. It's water. It reminds you to fill your own well. Do not draw from an empty well or even a half-full well, especially during this time when we are being ramped up. Our DNA is being ramped up, and more light is coming in. What is good sacred self-care? Are you quiet enough to hear your guides when they say, stop for a minute, take a chill pill, and watch all of the things, because that's the time when we can really target guilt, shame, and blame around all the things that say, well, okay, I'll give myself 5 minutes. Okay, I just don't have time for this. But we know that we are in a time of awakening and shifting consciousness, radical shifting consciousness, where we are becoming transcendent galactic humans, a much more expansive energy than what we've perhaps previously acknowledged, an awareness of oneness that we have not had since the Garden of Eden, if you want to use a metaphorical, allegorical idea of a state of being. And so this is huge. And I know in 2012, when it was the end of his story and became the time to begin our story, a lot of people said, oh, this is huge. And we knew the cycles that were going on, but we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on promulgating the same paradigms and live in the same paradigm. This is programming, and it's programming of the patriarchy. And we are now in a time of the divine feminine to come into balance with the divine masculine. So that's another thing to ask yourself with the Mars energy. What is the divine masculine? As opposed to push, 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 being driven, go, 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 till you burn out. What's the other way that the divine masculine might be utilized or mean for you to come into balance with the divine feminine, which we are only beginning to plumb the depths of? So when you come to Friday, just after midnight, Mercury conjuncts Eris, that goddess of discord. So You see how the relationship, watch, drop into your heart, be present in your relationships, be aware that your goal is love in all your relationships, in all your interchanges, because it can be a prickly week, to put it mildly. It can be explosive if you are not practicing your mastery and breathing. And then, of course, when the moon is in Cancer, it reminds you to do your self-breast or self-pectoral exam. Hi, Selena. Thank you. So this is always the reminder when the moon is in Cancer. Am I filling my own well to overflowing, so that people benefit from my overflow and never tap out my essential energy? This is a big one. And with Pluto and Capricorn opposing the Cancer energy, again, it's what is self-empowerment? How are self-empowerment and sacred self-care linked in my life? What is security to me? What constitutes emotional security for me? So this conjunction between Mercury and Eris inspires new ideas and actions, bold new ideas and actions. So that's pretty cool. And the Cancer moon can foster mood swings, like emotional roller coaster. But basically, on Friday, the aspects tell you that you're going to feel confident and content in the morning, and that there are good opportunities to clear the air, especially if you drop into your heart. Things that might have been said throughout the week, things that need to be reformulated, reframed. So you might find that it's a really good evening Friday for a good dinner conversation. So you might think of that as far as a date night or a time with friends. And on Saturday, I've got some arrows here. So there's a mood shift as the moon moves into Leo. And, that's in the evening. So Leo is passionate, it's fiery, and it asks you what makes your heart sing. Are you putting your light out into the world from your heart just because it feels good, without an agenda? That's always the challenge for Leo, because Leo in its low side can be an ego run amok, melodrama. You may find that the weekend is very melodramatic if relationship issues have come up, if you have been, if the two faces of Mars have been working in your life. So remember that Leo reminds us that the heart is a swinging door. It swings toward us first and then out. We can only truly love to the degree that we love ourselves. So that's where the work is. And Leo rules the upper back and spine. And so if you find that you're like this, Gemini also can put your, can have your shoulders be like earrings. So if you do your heart drop breath and just feel everything move down into your center, so that you stay centered and grounded through all of this. So you might find that when the moon moves into Leo, you've got some melodrama going on. And, being a human, being a spirit in a human illusion, human existence is it's very dramatic. It's super dramatic, right? It's the most dramatic thing we know. So positive drama is the enlivenment from the heart with love of that. And the opposite side is the needless drama, just to feel like you're alive. So, I had some friends a couple of years ago. Well, actually, it was longer than that. It was a couple of decades ago, who loved to argue. And they said it made them feel alive. It made them feel like their relationship was working. But that's, it's your energy is so precious right now. And I want you to be mindful of this. Really, really protect your energy. As don't let your energy field just be all out there and media, letting others control your narrative. And even, I find that even some new age channels are scary. They're not promoting what my idea of a joyful narrative for my highest good, greatest joy, and clearest most powerful vision is. So I'm looking at just, I'm looking at doing a media chill, basically. And I think that's a good thing to do at least one day a week, if not more. The more that you can get outside metaphorically and literally in your life, with your love, and connect with that which supports your intentions and your vision, the better off you'll be. And then at 7:09 p.m. on Sunday night, the Mercury moves into Taurus. That might bring some calming influence, because you will have Mercury moving into the sign of Venus, out of the sign of Mars, out of Aries. And so if you have had knee-jerk reactions, so to speak, impulsivity taking over, and that's where the Will Smith thing is a great example, where impulsivity can just take over. If you haven't done your own Mars work, that Mars where you are at war with yourself, it's really important. All of this stuff hides in the subconscious. So this is why the moon becomes so important, so that you understand your lunar nature and you can work with getting the boogeyman out so that your dreams can become reality. So that's your week according to the moon. And of course, when Mercury moves into Taurus, it can also be stubborn defense of your thoughts, stubborn defense of your way of being. And the high side of Taurus is the high side of Venus. It's that heart-centered energy. And so as, that's something for you to remember as far as, breathing, moving into your heart before you speak. Aries is very much my way or the highway, but in its negative aspect. But Aries, Taurus can bring some of that in too. So I want to see what else I've got for you, because there was something I wanted to talk about with the DNA. Galactic energies are here, ramping up. Actually, the core of the Earth, as far as light goes. So the Earth is on its journey. It knows that its journey in evolving consciousness is underway and where it's going. We are asked, we're demanded to vibrate higher and higher and higher. So we are taking on an enormous amount of light, and it is coming into our DNA. Light is information. So think of it that way. Maybe that will help you, slow down a little bit, because there's an enormous amount of information, when you think about it, coming in with this light into our cells, into our DNA, to ramp up the potential that we have to literally elevate our DNA. So that means that your body is such an amazing organism, and it's doing the best it can to keep up with all of this. Plus, we had this new moon conjunct Chiron, and that said, wow, new healing can be initiated in this cycle. And I mentioned last week that we may find that we have new healing modalities coming forth, which we haven't seen before during this cycle. So that's, there's a global alternative possibility here, and there is our personal possibility here. Where have we not been standing up for ourselves? Where have we not said something that might need to be said? And that may come out this week. So if you can create a loving space for that to happen in, that'd be really good. And when Mercury is in Taurus, if it hasn't come out before, it may come out then, because Taurus rules the throat. Taurus has to do with speaking your truth, speaking up, speaking out. So things that you've seen this week where you may have felt that you've held back, or patterns that you targeted, which have had you doing that much of your life. You may find that when Mercury moves into Taurus, you get more of a green light to express those with love, but with fortitude and courage. So if you have questions for me, please message me at Moon-Powered Astrology. If you'd like a session, I believe the link has gone by. If not, again, message me. The way I work is I do a free chat, and we find out how I can best be of service to you. And I'm always available for a chat anyway, if that's something that that you would like. I love hearing from you. I love connecting with you. So we've got a high vibrational light coming in, being etched into our genome and upgrading us. This is happening. And so if you find that you're tired, or that your mood swings, your circadian rhythms, the time framing of your day is just seems to have shifted, and what's going on? What's wrong? No, something's very right. And your body is responding, and it's simply asking for you to be mindful of when your guides want to check in. And some of those guides may actually even be galactic, because we had that 7 cycle lineup. We're going to have a full moon in Libra on the 16th. So new moon, Mars ruled, right? Full moon, Venus ruled. Libra's all about balance. And so we will have this pinnacle of all the work that we've been doing regarding creating that new balance in our lives between assertive energy and receptive energy, to put it very simply. So ground yourself every day. Be mindful of your energy. Breathe. Love yourself to the max. There's only one of you in the whole universe. You are a drop in the ocean of oneness. And this is the thing. Whatever you need is right there, because you are a magnet, and you will attract to you the part of that ocean that is necessary for your survival, for your flow. Because we're moving out of survival. We're moving into thrival. Right? What does that word mean to you? Thrival. I would love to hear. Thrival. Thrival, flourishing. See that for yourself. Know that for yourself. Know that your true state of being has its life in the heart of Source. That's where you truly are all the time. The heart of Source. And this avatar, this video game, is for you to enjoy as you grow your soul to be the full magnificence that we are. Underneath all of the world programming, that's who we are. We are these magnificent lighthouses on the planet right now of inestimable value. And I know many of you have suffered loss, because there are some people who are going to be working from the other side, as we call it, but the veil is thinning. The veil is thinning. So nobody goes anywhere, right? Everybody's, it's one ocean of infinity. So be aware of the value of your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your heart. As always, be free, love yourself, have your practice of mastery, and know that I love you to the moon and way beyond. See you next week.